When the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, they knew that America would inevitably change, so they added in Article 5 of the Constitution, which details how amendments may be added to update the Constitution for modern times. So far, over 11,000 amendments have been proposed, but only 27 have been ratified. An amendment that we would propose is one that would grant statehood to Washington, D.C. and create a separate federal district for government buildings in D.C. Currently, residents of the District of Columbia bear the responsibilities of citizenship of the U.S., including paying taxes. In fact, DC residents pay more per capita in taxes than residents of any other state. However, at the same time, residents of DC are denied many privileges of living in the United States, including not having any votes in Congress. Many have called this taxation without representation, a reference to the subpar treatment of the American colonies by the British during the American colonial period. DC is also large enough to be a state, as it has a population of 712,000, which is comparable to many other states, such as Vermont, Alaska, and North Dakota.
And just like residents of any other state, residents of DC serve in the military and on juries and contribute to the nation's economy. Denying statehood to DC is denying DC residents the full rights and privileges they deserve as citizens of the United States. Many people have likened this to discrimination against the residents of DC. There are numerous historical examples for statehood for Washington, D.C. In 1961, the 23rd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, which granted electoral college votes to the district and thus allowed D.C. voters to vote in national elections. This shows that D.C. residents have equal ability with residents of all other states to make informed decisions on important issues, such as who to elect as president. In 1978, the District of Columbia Voting Rights Amendment was proposed by Congress. However, it unfortunately was not ratified. The amendment would have treated D.C. as a state for the purposes of representation in Congress. This meant that the district would have been given full representation in Congress, the Electoral College system, and the amending process of the Constitution.
The latest example was in 2016, where 86% of DC residents voted in a referendum in favor of DC statehood. In response, in 2020, the House of Representatives passed the Washington, D.C. Admission Act, which would have made D.C. the 51st state as the Washington, Douglas Commonwealth. However, the Senate did not pass the bill, and D.C. did not become a state. There are two ways each to propose and then ratify an amendment as per Article 5 of the Constitution. To propose an amendment, 2/3 of both chambers of Congress must agree on proposing the amendment, or a national convention must be called by Congress on the application of 2/3 of the state legislators. To ratify an amendment, 3/4 of state legislators must approve the amendment, or each state must call a convention for ratification, and 3/4 of the conventions must approve the amendment. This process ensures any amendments that ultimately get ratified have support among a large population of people. Amendments can be powerful things, with the potential to completely change America. Our amendment to make DC a state will change America for the better, finally giving Washington, D.C. the status it deserves.